Hello, FlossTube. This is scienceknitster, Deb or Deborah. You can find me on Instagram and actually just Instagram now as scienceknitster. I got off Twitter. Let's see. Today is Sunday, January 20th, 21st, sorry, 22nd? 22nd. Don't even know what day it is. It's all running together. I have completed my move back to Corpus Christi. It's been a whirlwind. I meant to record last weekend, but I couldn't do it. Anyway, as always, thank you to returning viewers. We've had quite a few, I guess quite a few new subscribers the last month or two of the year of 2022. And I didn't check today, but last time I checked, it looked like we had stabilized at just over 300 subscribers, which is pretty exciting. Let's see what else I want to say about that. Yeah, so just welcome. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer. And if you're new, I hope you, and well, both to those that are returning and if you're new, I hope you enjoy today's video, which is going to be an update on what I've been stitching in the last month. It's actually been 5 weeks, I think, since my last recording. And my plans. I had thought about doing a WIP parade, but I just couldn't get myself together. And when I got together the stuff I had been working on and some stuff, new stuff and stuff related to plans, it's like, I think I have enough. Anyway, as always, I like to start off with what I'm drinking. Today I am drinking some chai spice from Stash. I did used to buy this loose, but I think last time I went to order it, it wasn't available, like they were all out of the loose, so I just ended up buying a bunch of tea bags, which are actually easier to use in the office. And I have a new mug, thanks to some friends and colleagues. It says powered by coffee and yarn. And then on the other side here, there's levels, and it says thinking about yarn, really thinking about yarn. And the last one, when you're almost out of whatever it is you're drinking, it's let's do this. So they obviously know I like to do crafty things. So mostly I've been doing cross stitch. I have done a little knitting in the last month. So if we have time at the end, I'll show the socks that I worked on actually this past week. So for those of you that are returning viewers, you know, I mentioned that I had a big move coming up. So I've moved back to Corpus Christi, where my spouse has been living in the house that we bought, in 2006. So when I moved down to the Rio Grande Valley in early 2017, so about 6 years ago, actually just over 6 years ago, he stayed here in our house. He already had a business going, a farm, Oso Bay Farm. And so he stayed here. I was hoping we'd sell the house and he'd move down to the valley, but that didn't happen. And then a job came open here, and where I used to work before I moved down to the valley, the community college here in Corpus Christi, and they asked me to come back, and we worked out a date. And so I started there on January 9th, and I am teaching biology for science, or for biology majors, both Bio 1 and Bio 2 this semester. Let's see, what else did I want to say in sort of quick life updates? I think that's pretty much it. You might be able to tell from the way I'm dressed. It's a little chilly today, and actually not too bad. And the main reason I'm wearing a turtleneck is we went for a walk on the beach this morning, and it was quite windy and chilly, and I had several layers on. Then today I'm wearing my Star Party sweatshirt that I got many years ago at the McDonald Observatory. And at the end, in Science Corner, I'll tell you why. So you gotta wait till the end. Well, I guess you could just scroll through to the end if you really wanted to, but I hope you don't. Okay, so First, some finishes. I have quite a few finishes, and one of them I couldn't even find. Hopefully it'll pop up in one of the bags that I'm going to open. Okay, so I have to go back to 2022 here. And so one of the first finishes was, and I'll show it on my phone. Let me just look one more time in this bag, because the next one I want to show is actually in this bag. Maybe it's hiding in here and I just didn't see it. No, it's not in here. So you might recall, for those of you that watched my last video, I had started one of the pieces from the Jingle Ball, their little booklet, and the one from the Blue Flower, Janine McGowan, and called Tall Treat. And I finished it, I think the day after I recorded. Okay, where are you? Obviously, I am not extremely organized. Ah, here we go. Here it is. It's a little clearer, okay? So I did mine on some, it was either 14 or 18 count Ada that I had in my stash. I think I used all the called for colors, or if I didn't have one, I used whatever closest. I don't remember. Where I stuck that thing, I have no idea, because I looked in the place where most of my finished items are, and apparently it didn't get, oh, I might have finished that one when I was still in Brownsville in my apartment, so I haven't finished unpacking. So, we'll have to see if it appears somewhere. It should have been with the other stuff that I wanted to finish, because I was actually thinking about making some pillows around Christmas time, but then realized that was not going to happen with all the packing and whatnot I needed to do. The other finish I have is December Dance. It was part of a kit that I bought. I think I bought the kit from Garon Stitchery, now that I think about it. Where did the pattern go? Right here. So it was actually, I bought it as a kit. I believe you can get the pattern separately now. I can't remember. You check Lindy Stitch's website. So this is by Lindy Stitches. So I stitched this one because the kit has all the stuff to finish. Now, obviously, you can see I did not use the fabric that came with the kit, which was a lavender Lugana, which it just doesn't say Christmas to me. So I found something else that I happen to have purchased, some Mint Splash Lugana. And that's what I decided to use. And apparently my stitching was a little too tight in places, but I did sub one of the colors. I think I subbed like 600 for 601 or something like that. I didn't have one of the colors, or I couldn't find it, so and I'm thinking if I'm gonna record up here, I need to wait till a little bit later in the afternoon when the sun's actually still on the other side of the house right now, but in a little bit it'll be over there. If this goes on long enough, it might be over there shining in the window by the time we're done. We'll find out. Anyway, so that was a finish. That's finish number 2. And then I had one more finish in December. And that is, I finished my version of Bringing Home the Tree. I got this chart from Andrea of Andrea's, oh, what is she here on YouTube? I'm blanking, but I'll tag her if I remember. Anyway, so this was by Lori Holt, distributed by the Fat Quarter Shop through It's So Emma, and I did mine on an old piece of Ada, 14 count Ada from my stash, and then I realized it would just fit in this tray that I had, that I'd purchased a few months ago from Judy's Stitchery Nook, who's closing. I think yesterday was her very last day, actually. She was having a liquidation sale. And so I switched out the two different aqua blues for the snowflakes, and the thing down, the bringing home the tree down here, I used B2500 instead. Is it 2500 or 5200? B5200, I think is what it's called. But you can see I didn't actually stretch this. I just put it in here because I think, oh, it just fits, and I can display this. And I haven't decided if I'm going to like get several different boards that will, and cut them to fit in here, and actually lace different seasonal items and switch them out, or if I'm going to actually get this one framed in its own frame. But I kind of liked it. It actually sat on a bookshelf of cookbooks that we have in our kitchen dining room area, and that seemed to work very well. But it obviously needs to be stretched because you can still see the fold there where the Ada was folded. But anyway, I like how it turned out. I had originally been thinking a red frame, but I think it works pretty good in here. If I do keep it in here, like I said, I'd want to do a seasonal switch out and use this, because it just has tabs back here. It'd be easy to switch things in and out. You just have to have a piece of mat board or foam core that you would lace each item to, cut to the right size. Okay. So those were my 3 December finishes. I'm going to kind of move things out of the way. And this did not get back in its bag. So let me put it back in here so I don't lose track of it. All the finishing stuff is in here. So, okay. Let's see. Yes, so those are my 3 finishes. So let me actually go through my new starts, and then I'll show you the things that I've worked on that aren't new starts since then. Okay, so obviously December dance was a start, and yeah, so I started December dance Christmas, a couple days before Christmas, and then finished it a couple days after Christmas. And then on Christmas Eve, I got wild and crazy and decided to start. This is my Joy by Little House Needleworks. I actually have quite a bit of Little House in my stash. Maybe I should do a little designer focus on Little House sometime. Strangely enough, I haven't stitched a bunch of it, but I like her stuff and I have some of it. So I started that, and I'm stitching it on, it says 36, yeah, 36 count Opulence by Misty Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts. And I'm stitching it, I'm gonna stitch it in green with some colored greens, Belle Soie, that I had in my stash. Actually, I bought this to stitch one of Misty's things, but this will work. So I mentioned in my last video that I love nativities, and I was like, oh, what other nativities do I have? And I think I might have shown this one, and I was like, I should start that one. So basically I'm doing this version of it, but I chose my own fabric and colors. I didn't want it to be red because, you know, like Christmas red. I was like, what? Why don't I do green? So that's what I'm doing. And I actually thought about working on this more, excuse me, over Christmas, but I kept finding other things to work on and I never got back to it. I think I stitched on a little bit. Yeah, I stitched on it a little bit on Christmas Day. And then, and then haven't picked it up since. Okay, so I pretty much worked on bringing home the tree from the time from when I finished December Dance until oh, and I forgot to mention December Dance. That bird that you see is a red-footed booby. It does not live here, but it's a cool bird. And I actually ended up finishing bringing home the tree on New Year's Eve. And that finished out 2022. Oh, I was working on new starts. Okay, so I had one other new start in 2022. And that was Jane Hopkins by... Oh, and there was a reason why I was thinking about getting my Kindle out, because my Kindle Fire is bigger than my phone, but this will just have to do. Jane Hopkins is a beautiful sampler from, as I said, Hands Across the Sea, hats, and okay, let's make sure I get the right one. I've got a bunch of them now, so they're all okay. So I think this is it. It is. Okay, Jane Hopkins, 1875. Emily C. and Laura of Brenda and the Serial Stitcher said they were going to start this on Christmas Day or around Christmas Day. And so it was one I've been wanting to start, and I had purchased it from the PDF from Kitten Stitcher several months ago, and decided I was going to go ahead and start it. I am doing my own overdye conversion. I have not completed the conversion, but I have chosen some of the colors. So I'm stitching this on a piece of, I believe this is 36 count. It's either 36 or 40 count Picture This Plus doubloon that I had in my stash. It was the thing that I had that had the most sort of goldeny hue to it, because I thought the picture had sort of a goldeny hue to it. So I decided to use that. It's looking more brown. It actually looks more gold in real life. But you can see I made a bit of a start. Have some satin stitches up here. But I started on the border and then put in a strawberry, and then started working on the flower. I tend to get bored with borders, or it depends. It depends on my mood. And so I kind of like to work into motifs. And I'm not one of those people that likes to do the whole border and then fill in the middle. I kind of like to do a little bit of border, do a little bit of stuff inside. And that kind of helps me check where I am. But yeah, so this is what I've got going so far. I am happy to share what I've picked so far. Sometimes I will warn you, sometimes I will switch things out. It might not look the way I thought it was going to, or match the other threads as well. So I do sometimes edit on the way. But I'm always happy to share my overdye conversions. I know some people, they like to use the overdyes, but they get frustrated trying to choose. And I used to kind of think, this is taken away from my stitching time, but I kind of enjoy the process. The sad part, though, is now I can't just go to Judy's with a list of the DMCs I'm trying to match and look at her wall, which is sad. So obviously I have that one as a PDF. So that was my new start on Christmas Day. And then I didn't have another new start until, where did my 2023 book go? Oh, here it is, right behind me. I didn't have another new start until New Year's Day. Now, New Year's Day, I actually planned 2 new starts, but I was doing an over-die conversion for one of them, and I was stressing myself out because the next morning, Monday morning, I had to be back in Brownsville for the last week at my old job. And so I was like trying to pack, trying to start things, and I had started choosing threads like on New Year's Eve, I think, but I was also trying to get bringing home the tree done. So, it was a little hectic. So my one start on that day was Florence Mary Dickinson. Florence Mary Dickinson. Again, Hands Across the Sea. You might start thinking, are all the samplers you do Hands Across the Sea? No. And I will prove it to you in a little bit. I had decided not to get the called for fabric. I'm trying to be better and stitch from my stash for the most part, although sometimes not. This is sad. I'm almost, like embarrassed to show this, but oh shoot, which one is the right one? I think it's this one. Okay, I started it twice because I didn't like the thread that I chose the first time. So I am stitching this on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha, and I think this was my first start. It might have been my second start, I'm not sure. And then I decided I'm pretty sure this was the first start. And then I decided that was too green. No, I decided that was too brown. This was the first start. I decided it was too brown. And so I chose this one, which has more green and brown mixed together, which you can't really see in the light in here. So I believe that's the right one. That's about as far as I got, because I said I was packing, I was stressing myself out. So I need to get back to this one because this is the stitch along for our Sampler Years group on Facebook. And for the last 2 years, I have done the stitch along, but finished well into the next year. Now I have an excuse for the first year, Ann Roberts. I didn't actually know about this Al, and then I had to until like April maybe, and then I ordered fabric and the chart, and ended up had to wait a couple months before it came, and then so I got started on that one late. That was Ann Roberts. And then the next year I actually started it on New Year's Day, Martha Dawson. I did my own over-die conversion of that one. Both of those I did my own over-die conversion. And I started Martha Dawson, and then I made a mistake somewhere and I was frustrated and put it away that was the year I started like all the Sals. Between like every Sal that came along between about January and March, I was like, oh, I want to start that one. Yeah, that was that year. And I ended up restarting her several months later, and it was just last year was incredibly busy. And so the year before, 2021 into 2022 was incredibly busy for me. And so I didn't finish her until sometime, maybe was it in the fall during Sampler September maybe? And so I had started in 2022, I started Rosetta Featherstone, which I'll show you in a little bit. And then I hadn't finished her. I probably could have finished her if I wasn't moving and hadn't got the, I want to stitch all the Christmas things bug, which happened. So, did I show my thread so far? Probably not. So I'm just really getting started on the overdye conversion for this one. Oh, that's where those readers went. So this is what I have so far. Yeah, I can't decide which was the right start. Yeah. So that second one I showed you, I believe, is the correct. Yes, the second one I showed you, I had started off with cocoa bean, which is pretty brown, and then decided to switch to Crescent Colors Timber, which has a little bit of greeny gray in it. And I'm happier with that one. Okay. Now, why are there two of those in there? Is that the right one? Maybe, oh, that's the one that goes with this one. Oh, I know. This one didn't get back in the one that it belongs in. That belongs in Jean Hopkins. Okay, let me just put this stuff back in here. I drive myself completely crazy. Okay, so the other new start, actually let me make sure. Yes, just need to get back into Jean. The other new start, because that's what I'm doing right now, new starts, that I did was another Hands Across the Sea sampler, one that I was planning to start January 1st, also as what's called a blessing sampler. It's when you start and finish in January, and starting and finishing in January is supposed to bring you blessings. So, so that was with Melissa Sampler Nut and a bunch of other people. I forget who else. Doing Dorothy Sampson. And I'm actually, let me get to front here. Okay, so Dorothy Sampson actually has several charts in the pattern, in the booklet, because you can buy this as a booklet too. So I'm doing this one, the 1906 sampler. There's also a 1905 sampler, and then there's little, oh, I forget what she calls that. Pincushion or something that Nicola Parkman designed based on this, which was one of Dorothy's originals. So I'm doing the 1906. I was gonna do my own overdye conversion of this also, but like I said, I was stressing myself out, and I actually had decided, oh, I'm starting too many things. I'm not even gonna do it. But I kept looking at it, it's like, you know, it's small, and I had pulled some of the DMCs, and it's such a pretty, colorful sampler that I decided the first weekend in January on the 7th, after I got home, I decided I got back in Corpus on the 6th of January. I decided to start it. And you might say, that doesn't say Dorothy or Sampson. No, it doesn't. I'm personalizing it for my grandmother, Marguerite Marshall Overath, who was the one who taught me needlework to begin with. She taught me embroidery when I was 6 or 7. Those of you that are longtime viewers might remember that story from way back when I started FlossTube. So I charted out her full name. Marguerite Marshall doesn't fit, so I decided just to put her first name. I toyed with the idea of putting M. Marshall because on Dorothy's one for this one, you can see she just put her first initial. But I decided, it's like, okay, I'm going to put in the M because it's spaced. I could make it space out the same and it would have been centered. And that was the other thing, is I wanted mine centered. Dorothy didn't get hers exactly centered. And then I was like, you know what? I like Marguerite better, so I'm going to do Marguerite. So I'm using all the called for DMC. Oh, I made one other change. Dorothy had dogs in all of these, and you might see that the ones on this side have little ears. I made them into cats. I used, basically I used the dog body and I put a little cat head on it, inspired by the cat in Chester's Place, or one of the cats in Chester's Place by, oh shoot, I was just looking at it. Oh, actually, I think I have, oh, that's right, I have it now. So Chester's Place by, oh, please, please, please. No, of course, it's only part of the chart, and it doesn't say her name. It starts with a W. Oh, maybe I know, I'll have a folder for her maybe. Because she's put out some other designs that are really cute. And I would really like to stitch some of her other designs too. Of course, have I finished Chester's Place? No, it's a sampler. It's really cute. But let's see, maybe I have it in my miscellaneous samplers. Whistle Stop Stitcher. Okay, bear with me, folks. It's gonna be one of those days. Okay, so that's my paternal grandmother, Marguerite Marshall Overath. So I still need to chart. So I'm not quite done with this because I still need to chart her birth date and put that in. So I think I'm going to put the month here and then the date and the year. I think is how I'm going to do it. And I trying to put Marshall down here, but there just isn't enough room. And if I had thought about it ahead of time, I probably could have altered these trees so there'd be room, but I didn't. So I've already picked out another small sampler about the same size that will fit here. And that I'm going to personalize for my maternal grandmother. I'm not sure if I'll wait and do that as a blessing sampler next year or if I'll try to do it sometime this year. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Okay. So those were all my new starts for now. There's some more planned. So WIPS, works in progress. I actually have more of those than I thought I would. So I already showed you pretty much everything I worked on in December was either a finish or a start and a finish or a finish, except for one thing. And that is on Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. I worked just a teeny tiny bit on Maria Vincenza Lariccia. And I only worked it on it for a teeny tiny bit. And then I picked December Dance back up because I was crazy enough to decide to stitch this on 5363 Sycamore Sea Pod by Legacy Linen. And so I ran into some issues down here. So I think I had worked on this a little bit more and then was gonna start a motif down here and got frustrated. So I've decided that I'm actually gonna put this on, actually it goes, yes, it just goes this way. No, this way. Yes, it goes this way. That I'm going to put this, I think I'm going to put this on some scroll bars. And then I pretty much can only work on this when I have really good light. And so I need to find the best place in the house where I can put my stand, because I have a case stand, metal stand, and I already have scroll bars, so it's not like I need to go buy any or anything. Or I could potentially use a Q-snap and just work in the, you know, put a smallish one for just the area that I'm working on. But for something like this would be so long term, I think I prefer to put it on scroll bars. And then that way I can tighten it, and then it might open things up a little bit more, make it just a little bit easier to see. The other thing is, I think part of the issue was that I had been stitching on either when I picked this up, I had mostly been stitching on 32 count. I started December Dance. The week before I had worked on Bringing Home the Tree. So I'd either been working on 14 count Ada or 32 count. And I think if I'd been working on higher count stuff, like I have some 40 count, some things going on 40 count and even 46 count. If I'd been working on one of those and then moved to this, I think it wouldn't have been such a big thing for my eyes to adjust. And if there'd been better light where I was. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I would like to work on this some more, and so I just need to find the right place, the right circumstances, to make it a little bit easier to see. And because I really, because I think I can stitch on it. I need the right environment. Okay, so that was the only other WIP that I haven't already shown you from December. I did pick up a WIP that I actually ended up, I had intended to work on Florence pretty much that first week of January, Florence or Jane, that first week of January, and be part of that, what is it, first week of the month hat sale, or hats first week of the month, or what, the one that Laura and others started. I do plan to do that. And Florence is going, either Florence or Rose Ada Featherstone will be the one that I focus on that first week of the month. And probably Florence, so I have a hope of staying current with the with that sale, because I really like to stay current with that sale, as well as finish Rose. Okay, so I picked up the first week of January. I was in Brownsville, and I decided, instead of, because I was going to be, I had planned to stay with a friend, but she ended up not having room for various reasons. And so I ended up staying in a hotel, and I wasn't sure what the light would be like. And it turned out the light wasn't that great, and I didn't want to have to bring a light with me. And I was stressed out enough. So I still needed to pack up my office and do a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so I decided to bring Uber Snowman with me, and I did get a bit of work done on the Uber Snowman. So I actually had not much done except for part of a little bit of the body and the outline. Did I have the outline? Oh, I think just the top, and then not even filled in. Let me put something behind this so it's easier to see. So I got, I worked on it in the evenings while I was in the hotel. And so I got the arm in, I got the basket in, I got some more of the body in. I was hoping to get up and start working on his head, but I didn't get that far. But I will pick this up again during the winter. I plan to stitch on it some more. Oh, so I'm using the called for pearl cotton and pearl cotton number 5, and that is a piece of natural 18 count linen. Did I say what I was stitching Dorchi on? I did not. It's a 36 count linen for my stash. Okay. What else? On the 17th of December, a new SAL started, a new stitch along started, or start along. Actually, this was one where you could stitch on something that you could stitch on a whip. And this Stitch Your Alphabet style started by Abby Bella Stitch, and I'm not sure, there was somebody else with her. Together they came up with the idea, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. Go watch Abby Bella Stitch to make sure that I'm telling you the right thing. Or check out her Instagram. Anyway, I decided, I started this little sampler by Little House Needleworks called the Kitty Cottage Sampler way back in the spring of 2020. And I'm not even sure I had worked on it. I don't think I worked on it last year at all. I might have worked on it in 2021, but I decided this is an excuse to get this out. So I'm actually stitching this. I don't remember what the linen is. I know it's a 32 count. Might be light mocha or something like that. Let me check real quick on my X Stitch app. X Stitch Plus. Kitty. Oh, it's 32 count, which I knew it was 32 count. Country French latte. That was close. Mocha latte. So I had a lot of this already in. I think I put in the N and the letters down here, the O, the P, and the S. I don't remember why. It's charted in DMC, and I don't know if it was I didn't have all the DMC or what, or this is apparently the first overdye conversion I had ever done, and I completely forgot about that. So here's the threads that I'm using. They're all of them are overdyes, but it's a pretty palette. It pretty much mimics the DMCs. For the life of me, I don't remember why I decided to do it in overdyes. Like I said, it might have been because I didn't have all the DMCs, and this was I started this during lockdown. I didn't want to wait for threads to come from somewhere, who knows when. So, anyway, so I'm going to probably stitch on this on Tuesdays to participate in that SAL. So those are all my WIPs, and what I thought I'd do next was talk a little bit about other plans. So I've already mentioned I'm working on Florence Mary Dickinson, and I'll probably work on that the first week of each month. That's the Our Sampler Years SAL for 2023 is focused on that one. I also want to work on Jane Hopkins. I haven't just figured out exactly when I'm going to work on Jane, because probably I won't work on her a lot until I get Rose Ada Featherstone done. And so maybe what I'll end up doing is like the second week of the month, I'll focus on Rose Ada Featherstone, because I haven't worked on her since my last FlossTube, because I was going to try to finish, you might remember, I was going to try to finish her in December. And I just wanted, like I said, I wanted to stitch all the Christmas. So I was like, okay, just go with it. Stitch what you love, right? That's what Brenda says. I happen to agree with her. So So I'm gonna, Tuesdays, I'm gonna do the Stitch Your Alphabet Sal. And actually, let me talk about that a little bit more. Once I finish Kitty Cottage Sampler or get bored with it, whichever comes first, hopefully I'll finish. I decided that since Abby Bella Stitch was the one of the people involved in starting that Stitch Your Alphabet Sal, which apparently has like no particular end date in mind, just do it. I'm gonna get this back out because I started this because of Abby. I kept seeing her stitching it, and you know, she was posting on Instagram, and I was like, oh man, I want to stitch that. It's huge though. Like, why? Because it's red. That's why. It's a Bristol sampler. I am stitching it on, I believe this is a piece of 40 count antique cotton by R&R that I got from Judy's Stitchery Nook. And I ended up getting a bunch of Threadworks, one of their reds, 10051. It's actually, I think it has a name. Let me just see. I've got the other ones in here. Does it have a name? I don't see a name. I just see. Anyway, I tend to like these reds that are kind of burgundy-ish. Anyway, so this is an overdyed cotton, and you can't see the variegation, but it has some nice variegation to it. Okay, note to self: find better lighting. I knew I should have done this in the kitchen, but kitchen dining room area. Ours is, we've got an open floor plan, so it's kind of all part of the same room. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll pick this back up once, you know, I should be able to finish that kitty cat sampler. Oh, you can't see her. She's hiding. Miss Fortuna's on the bed, checking things out, but you can't see her in the camera. I would show her, but then you'd see the mess that's on my bed. All this stuff. Okay, where'd the front go? Yeah, so this is the Bristol Squirrel Bristol sampler. The Bristol Le Courel. Don't judge my French. I took it in high school. Actually, it was middle school. It was junior high school. And I picked it back up a little bit in high school. I was thinking at the time of majoring in languages. I was going back and forth between science and languages. Science won, obviously. But I'm still fascinated by languages. Okay. Hey there, girl. You want to come on my lap and come say hi? No? She's bad. Let me see if I can show her. Where are you, girl? Oh, she's like just behind me, so you can't see her. Sorry about that. Hope it didn't make anybody dizzy. Okay. So I also mentioned that that for that first week of the month hat sale, whatever it's called. I'm gonna have to go figure out the hashtag. That I'll either work on Florence or Rose Ada Featherstone. So here is Rose Ada. So I'm using, so this was an exclusive with the Hobby House, which actually Florence Mary Dickinson also is. And I am working her on, I think this is 40 count, Antique Lace by Seraphim, which is what the kit from the Hobby House, hey girl, had. And I'm using their overdyed cotton overdyed conversion. Okay, she's like right behind me. Okay, there's 2 other sals that I want to participate in. Grace of Cross Therapy. I think she's still Cross Therapy on Instagram. She also has YouTube, FlossTube, but I don't think she's put out a new one in quite a while. I hope you're okay, Grace, if you watch. Anyway, she started the What Remains is Love Sal, just stitch in honor of family. And so this was Blackbird's What Remains. And I started this around that time. And I think I'm trying to use, I'm using a mixture, I think, of the called for, whoa, didn't get started much. The called for DMC and overdyes based on what I have. And I'm also stitching this on some of that 40 count opulence. It might be 36. I think I have both in my stash. I'll have to double check before I work on this again. So these are not all the colors. It was just I had pulled enough stuff to get started. So I want to work on that. So Grace, I believe, is working on that on Fridays, but then there's another Sal that is also every Friday. So I'm going to have to decide which one I want to do Friday and then pick another day of the week for the other one. But the other one is to stitch on something from in the Hot Run Hollow series by the Carriage House. So I started the Shores of Hot Run Hollow during lockdown as part of my Mermania that I started that May 2020. I am stitching on the called for 40 count autumn gold. Okay, so I had put in enough to get over to this square that had the mermaid in it, and I was trying to get down and stitch the mermaid from Mermania. Didn't get that far, but I did get some done. So now I'm just going to go back, and my plan is just to start here and do it block by block. But so this is the autumn 40 count autumn gold that was called for, and I'm using the called for DMC. And I have most of them here, except for the ones that I have rated this for other projects. I tend to like write notes like, make sure this one gets back in that project. Hey girl, you're just sitting right outside where the camera can see you. I think that's on purpose. You don't like to be on camera. Let's see. There she is. Miss Fortuna. Fortuna. Psst, psst, psst. Hey. It's like she knows. She knows when there's a camera. She doesn't want in it. Okay. I'll zip that back up later. So those are the Sals that I'm planning to participate in. So far, I'm going to try not to get too crazy this year, but, oh, I forgot one. Because it's in my stash of my stack. Actually, there's two. There's two other Sals I'm planning to participate in. And actually, one already started, but you can start anytime. And actually, the other one, I'm actually going to participate in two things with it. Is this? No, it's not it. Okay, let me just... Okay, one is another one that Melissa Sampler Nut and some friends have come up with. So, so they had so much they've already finished Dorothy. So they had so much fun with Dorothy. They just like, hey, let's do another small hat sampler in February. Like, oh yeah, sure, that sounds good. It was one I was thinking about getting anyway. So, and it is a small one. It's bigger than Dorothy, but it's still small. So it's Mary Priest, I believe, is the name. Okay, which one of you is it? No, that's not a right one. Here it is, Mary Ann Priest. And the colors are so pretty. So I can get that. So I'm gonna do that one. I'm gonna do it the DMC, and I'm gonna do it on another part of that 36 count fabric that I showed you. That I'm stitching Dorothy on. Okay, then the other one I'm going to wait a few minutes to tell you about because I have a bunch of haul to show you, and it's one of my recent purchases. Okay, so I mentioned I bought some things in my last video. I mentioned I bought some things in the Jingle Ball. So one of those, no, I didn't print out. Okay, so and one of them was, I bought a little kit because I think it was just easier to get the paper version. So this is Comfort and Joy by Noteworthy Needle. This is the first, I think this is the first thing I bought from them. And I bought the little kit with the dots and the variegated DMC because I liked how it looked. So this is I think this is a 32 count natural. What is it called? It's the called for. 32 count petite point raw linen with white dots. And the variegated is 115, DMC 115. It's called Garnet. So I'm betting it has like 815 and related colors in it. So I was tempted to start this after it came, but I did not. Because I was also tempted to start the mystery stitch along that I had signed up for from, was it Tiny Modernist? I believe it was. Yes, Tiny Modernist. Didn't start that one either. I picked the fabric finally. Where's the fabric? Okay. So let's see, what else did I get? So I also got Jacob's. I may have mentioned this one already. I got Jacob's latest, the 2023 Stitch Along Reaching Skyward. I am still dithering over fabric and colors. Still thinking about it. Abby's already started hers, and a bunch of other people have already started. And then the other thing I'm going to have to decide is, do I want to do this center or one of the optional ones? Because I bought them all. Okay. Then, right before Christmas, right at the end of the year, Fat Quarter Shop had a sale going for Primrose Cottage stitches, some of their things, and so I decided, well, I like some of their Christmas stuff because they had one that was like a nativity light, you might say. So it's just the manger with Silent Night. So this little trio. So religious Christmas trio that I liked, that I was thinking about. And then they have this gingerbread, and I love gingerbread things. So, oh, and then this one had, oops, this one had gingerbread. So that's, oh, White Christmas 2022. And also has snowman. And I love snowmen too. Snow people. And then this one I've been eyeing for a while, Hive Rules, because I love bee skeps and bees. So I got this one too. So I spent some of the money that my mother-in-law gave me as a Christmas gift. So thanks, Mom. So I got that. And then New Year's Eve day, Silver Needle in Tulsa, Oklahoma always has a big sale. And I used to get up, and because in the first hour you get like 25% off, I think it is. And then it goes down from there. And I had decided, oh, I'm not going to do it this year. But then, you know, I was kind of going back and forth. I had picked out a few things. And it was during the day, it was later in the day, and I was like, oh, yeah, I think I do want those things, so let me just go ahead. I think it's stuff I want to stitch this year, maybe, so get it? Well, I can. And so I actually ordered 3 things. So here's the way the sale works. Earlier in the day, it's not only better from the standpoint, they always wrap things really nice, so I don't know why I kept it, because I'm just going to throw it away now. But the way they run it is you not only get more off earlier in the day, but they do the orders, and they do things in the order they come. If you do an online order or a phone order, that it's, you know, the order in which they come in. So if they run out of something before they get to your order, they just don't send it. Right, so they send what they have. So I had ordered 2 things from Plum Street. This Happy Morning, and I'm going back and forth between whether I want to do the black one or the one on the black or the one on the light, because I actually have the called for linen for this one. It's Box and Rabbit 36 count hog bristle. I have some in my stash, excuse me. Anyway, but then I also ordered Cardinal Kin, but apparently that's really popular this year, and they sold out before they got to me. So I didn't get that one. The other thing that's really nice is that they also send you a little thank you, and then they remind you that they also do a big sale on Super Bowl. So if you're not on there, especially if you don't have a local, which I don't anymore, if you don't have a local, I would subscribe to their email list and check them out if you haven't already. So that's Silver Needle. So it's just silverneedle.com will get you them. And then I really wanted the Christmas garden chart that's in this book, Home for the Holidays. And so I went ahead and ordered this one, and they still had it. So I got this one. This one also has that one with the cardinal, but I already have that one. 'Tis the Season, or C'est la saison, if you want to do it in French, which I will. Yeah, here it is. So this was also in Joyeux Noël, a book from, I forget, I've had that in my stash for a while, so I don't remember when Joyeux Noël came out. But if you missed it and you want that piece with the cardinal, 'Tis the Season, it's in this book too. But what I really want to stitch from here, although there's lots of cute stuff. Like there's this one, Blessings Be Thine. I really want to stitch Christmas Garden, which is why I bought this. So I still need to finish Feliz Navidad. And then I've got 2 other of their Christmas ones, Merry Christmas and Christmas Rose. And then I also want to stitch this one. So I guess I'll have like a quartet of Christmas samplers from Blackbird. Let's see, what else? Okay, so this actually just recently came. It took them a while, I guess, to get to all of them. And then okay, the thing that came that I had ordered a while ago and came just recently is Lucy Barber, 1857. Isn't that pretty? So this is a exclusive to and limited to traditional stitches in Canada. So if you're in the US, man, it's like stealing, because it's the exchange rate is grossly in our favor right now. Let's just say grossly. Why? I don't know, but it is. You know, it varies. But I got the DMC kit with the 40 count wood smoke from Tabby Cat Linens. I wanted to try some Tabby Cat. So I should probably take that out of the thing, but I didn't. And then I got the DMC, but we'll see. I might be converted out by the time I get to this. It's supposed to start sometime in February, around Valentine's Day. And I may just, we'll see. Like I said, the other issue I'm having right now is that I can't just go to Judy's Stitchery Nook and, you know, match things that I don't have a match for in my stash. So I may do this one with the DMC. Haven't decided. And then because I ordered the full kit, I got this thing from Minnie McBee's Stitchery, Minnie McBee's Needlework. I want her fripperies, and it's a cute little thing that has a little bit, you can see a little bit of the sampler, and it's got blingy things. So I'm going to put this on my floss ring. So I either need to put this on floss drops, or like I said, decide which overdyes I'm going to use in their place. Okay, so that's Lucy Barber. That's actually another stitch along that I forgot about until I picked this up. So I told a lie. So this is not the one I was talking about that had already started. This is another one that starts in February. Then the final stash enhancement that I'm going to show you, because I did also buy some other Hands Across the Sea samplers other than the Marianne Priest, but I'll show those another time. Maybe next time. I am going to join in the Martha Evans Stitch Along. That's in honor of Brenda, of Brenda Sampler Stitcher's birthday. Isn't that a beautiful sampler? And I haven't decided if I'm gonna put, you know, Martha's stuff in the middle, or if I'm gonna like dedicate it to somebody, or, you know, maybe put another verse in there. I don't know. So this one I'm working using the DMC, and I don't have it on a ring yet, so I'm not even going to try to show it to you. But I picked this fabric. It's 40 count buckskin by Mountain Air that I'm going to stitch it on. So I'm trying to stitch this one from stash, so that the only thing I bought with some of my Christmas money was Martha Evans. And it's by, if I did say, it's by the Scarlet House. You can get it at various places. I got mine through the Hobby House, but other folks have it. I thought about getting, I kind of hemmed and hawed about getting the fabric. And I think when I went to order this, the Hobby House didn't have the called for fabric, which is Hemingway from Needle and Flax. And then later, Brenda, I think, mentioned, oh, Needle and Flax has a bunch. I went to her website and it was all sold out by then. At least the 40 count was. And so I was like, you know what? I need to just stitch for my stash. And I have a nice big piece of that buckskin. Okay, so that's all the stash enhancement, the haul that I'm going to show. I do have some, I don't know if you want to call it stitchy kindness, but some of it's stitchy stuff. So I think in my last episode, I showed you the euphorbia, which is the scientific name of poinsettia, that some of my friends and colleagues gave me. So I also, when I went back in January, I had dinner one evening with another set of friends and colleagues, and they gave me this mug, but they also gave me this, and the presentation was much better. They had, nice cellophane thing, and it wrapped, that this was wrapped in, and with a bow and everything. But this is a cute little box that I'm going to use. I haven't decided for what yet, but actually, it might be cool to, could either put some kind of, use this for finishing, or more likely, I can put some like fabric in the bottom to kind of poof it up and then put pillows. Anyway, so one of the things they gave me, because they know I stitch, is this little embroidery. They know I like plants, and they know I stitch. So this is a kit called Cactus Bloom, it looks like it's plaidonline.com, and it's from Busilla, which they used to do cross stitch kits too. They might still. Anyway, so this actually comes with the hoop and everything, and then you can finish it in the hoop, a 6-inch hoop. So I'm going to work on this year. I do embroider. So like I said, the first needlework I ever did was embroidery. And then they gave me this towel with the kitty cat. I think it's supposed to be Miss Fortuna, but it actually reminds me more of our orange kitty, Miss Minerva, who's no longer with us. And then they know I like to cook. So they gave me this board, and I thought this was really cute. It says thankful. And this and the mug had Reese's Pieces, little miniature Reese's peanut butter cups. They didn't last very long. Some of them got eaten that night. By the second night, actually might have been the weekend. Might have taken me till the weekend, because we went to dinner on, was it Wednesday or Thursday night? I can't remember which night we went to dinner. It was not Friday, because I drove back up here on Friday night. Anyway, definitely by the weekend, all of the peanut butter cups were gone. Yum. And then a couple of gift cards. One for Starbucks, which is already almost spent. One from Hobby Lobby, to go with the one my other colleagues gave me, colleagues and friends gave me, and then specs, so I can get some wine for my wine pairings on Instagram. So thank you. You know who you are if you're watching. Thank you so much. Haven't had time to go enjoy these yet. Oh, I forgot. They're little cards also. that the gift cards came in. So thank you so much. So that was nice. So I think, oh, that's about it, except I said for the science corner, I would tell you why I am wearing my Star Party from the McDonnell Observatory, Fort Davis, Texas sweatshirt today. It's not just because it's a little chilly outside. It's because right now we have a comet. So science corner, we're in the science corner now. So if you don't like science, you might just want to scroll to the end. But right now we have a comet that just recently passed its closest, how close is the closest is going to get to the sun, and it is now coming back towards the Earth, and on February 1st should be around February 1st should be its closest to the Earth, and so the best able to see it for those in the northern hemisphere. It might be able to be seen if some of the stuff I've read is a little like one doesn't say anything about the southern hemisphere. Another one said you won't be able to see it in the southern hemisphere. I think it was Earth and Sky, which that's the website for the Earth and Sky bit that a lot of public radio stations play, a lot of NPR stations play. I think it was on that site. It said that after a certain date, that it would be dipping below the northern horizon and start to see for part of the time, and it would start to be visible in the southern hemisphere. But I remember the date for that, it would be starting to get fainter again. So right now it's getting brighter and brighter. It's just going to barely get bright enough around the 1st of February for people in a dark enough sky to be able to see it with their naked eye. Otherwise, you're going to need binoculars or telescopes. But apparently this is going to be the brightest comet that we're going to have here. And it's not going to really have a tail. Apparently it just looks greenish. And it's going to be near the North Star when it's brightest, or relatively near the North Star. I believe right now it is in or near the constellation Draco. But if you aren't familiar with the constellations and you want to try to see the comet, you won't find the comet on this, but there's this app called Skyview. I heard about it somewhere, and then my brother-in-law also had recommended it. There's actually a light version, which would be good enough for what you need to find. I just recently upgraded to the paid version, was like $2.99. Like, oh. Anyway, so we're probably going to try to see it next weekend. We like to go to the beach fairly early, so we might go to the beach like really, really early. The problem here is that to look towards the north, because it's gonna be like it's in like the northwest part of the sky. That's where the city is from where we are, and so we figure we'll go to the beach. There should be fewer lights fewer lights bothering the sky that way. And we'll have binoculars because we bird. So if we can't see it with our naked eye, we'll look for it with our binoculars. So because it might not be quite bright enough to see with the naked eye next weekend. But this is my understanding is the brightest will be right around February 1st, which is, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, the week after next. Anyway, so if you want to try to see a comet, not a very unspectacular comet, you can find out more about it. I actually heard about it on another YouTube channel called The Secrets of the Universe. And I forget what entities behind it, but it seemed pretty legit. They have also, they do like a monthly, what things you can see. Like if there's cool conjunctions of planets or they're all lined up or things like that. They have a little thing that they have, plus, you know, other cool stuff. Anyway, so I recommend that channel. I also recommend you just Google, the name of the comet is C 2022 E3. And sometimes there's a slash between the C and the 2022. So apparently this comet it only comes around like every 50,000 years. So yeah. So not great, but apparently the only one this year that can possibly be seen by the naked eye. So hopefully you live someplace where it's pretty dark toward the north, and you can take a look sometime in the next week or two and actually see it. Anyway, that's it for me. My last thing I want to say is, you know, take time to be kind to yourself and remember to be kind to your neighbor. And I hope to see you in WIP parade. So I'm thinking about some kind of WIP parade for my next episode. So if you are interested in seeing all my WIPs, say so. I'm thinking I may just focus on WIPs that I plan to work on this year, or that I've worked on in the past year and or plan to work on in the next year. But if you'd like to see all of them, or, you know, one of those other two options sounds good, let me know. Okay, see you in about a month. Bye.